So Ronda Rousey will be debuting in the WWE soon, and it looks like they're going to be setting up for a horsewoman versus horsewoman match that no one really wants to see because no one knows who the other three jobbers are, but apparently they have other plans for WrestleMania. So does this mean that Ronda Rousey is going to stick around all the way up until WrestleMania, or is this just another Brock Lesnar type thing? Because Ronda Rousey has talked about transitioning into wrestling before, and since she just got humiliated and exposed as the fraud that she really is in the UFC, it gives her all the more reason to want to stay in the WWE, where she can pretend to be a tough guy again. Either way, I'm a little mixed on this, because on one hand, why the hell not? It's not like they're doing anything better with the division anyway, but on the other hand, no one really wants to see this either. So as far as the WrestleMania match goes, it's either going to be against Charlotte or against Stephanie McMahon. And if that's the case, I'd rather it just be Rousey versus Stephanie, because at least with that one, it would embrace what it is. A joke match just to gain publicity. The feud will be funny, the match will be painless, and the payoff will be Stephanie McMahon getting her comeuppance, which is what all the Marks have wanted her to get for the longest time. Whereas the Charlotte match would try to take itself seriously and pretend like Charlotte is this legit athlete that actually stands a chance against Ronda Rousey, which would just be cringy and forced. But the way that they're building Charlotte up as of lately makes it seem like they are getting her ready to shove her down our throats again. And as much as I dread another Charlotte reign of terror, with rumors of Paige returning to SmackDown, I'd actually rather Charlotte hold the title for another year than Paige hold the title for one day. And this is what's really pathetic, is that you know that WWE is just going to shove Paige back into the spotlight once she returns. All because The Rock is doing a movie about her. This is exactly what Smarks have been complaining about in the Divas division for years, about how these trashy divas that can't wrestle get pushed just because of backstage politics and who they're screwing. And in Paige's case, it's both. The only reason she's going to get pushed when she comes back is because The Rock is making a movie about her. And the only reason she hasn't been fired yet after that sex tape was because she screwed Xavier Woods. The only reason she still has a career is because of who she screwed backstage. But that's fine, because she has great work rate. Oh, but Nikki Bella is such a slut who only won the title in 2012 because she was going to date John Cena 4 months later after she left the company. But whatever. The entire SmackDown division has been real stagnant for the last couple of months. Sure, they've done a decent job at making everyone in the division feel relevant, but at the same time, nothing relevant is actually happening. And the only real standout star in the division has been Carmella. And the least important woman in the division as of lately is probably Becky Lynch. So maybe this 4 horsewoman feud at Survivor Series is actually the best thing that can happen for the division right now. So that's something for you guys to think about. As much as we may not want Ronda Rousey in the WWE, at least it'll be a relevant storyline, which is what the division desperately needs right now. And putting aside my anti-Paige gimmick for a second, can't believe I'm saying this, but the division could really use someone like her to help spice things up. I'd rather they bring back Summer Rae to do that since she's not a crack whore, but at this point, the division could use all the help they can get. This might be the first time since the brand split that Raw is the one with the more interesting division, because for the first time, they're getting away from that 4 horsewoman type booking to give us 2 completely different feuds at TLC. Mickie James is finally doing something for the first time since she came back. Now, it's obviously just a filler feud, and probably the only reason it's happening is because Bayley and Sasha were getting booed out of the building. But this might actually be the best diva feud that Raw has had since the brand split, because it actually has substance, instead of just being about how their vaginas are historic. This is a real feud with 2 women that can actually go back and forth with each other on the mic. And because of that, it's actually managed to get Mickie over again. Imagine that. It's almost as if all they had to do to get Mickie over again was to give her a meaningful storyline. Who knew? It's probably not going to last because Asuka is debuting at TLC. And as great as a Mickie versus Asuka match sounds, I think part of the reason why they're building Alexa Bliss as this unstoppable monster heel is so that Asuka can be the one that finally takes her down once and for all. So Alexa is likely going to end up keeping the title all the way up until then, which would suck for Mickie because the way this feud is going, if she doesn't win the title, then it'll just prove that she really is a washed up old hag, even though she's only 2 years older than Asuka. But by that point, she's just going to wind up being the female Christian. It is nice that Emma is finally getting more spotlight in the division as of lately. She may not be a main event player or anything like that, but at least she's becoming one of the most prominent utility players in the division, which is better than being whatever Dana Brooke is right now. Aside from that, it looks like they're teasing an eventual feud between Sasha Banks and Bayley, which is hilarious. We've all been predicting that this was going to be a big WrestleMania or SummerSlam type of match, but it might just wind up being a mid-card feud on a C-card pay-per-view. As hard as it is to believe, Ronda Rousey is probably the only thing that can save them at this point.